M demands nurse make me cover my tattoo that's scaring her sleeping child, by user_queer_fox. I'm in the ER waiting room and an M comes in with her deathly ill child that's fast asleep in her arms. I'm wearing a tank top and have a Spirited Away themed piece on my upper arm. I've been here for 2 hours already. M keeps looking my way, huffing, dramatic sighs, and dirty looks. I have no interest in engaging, so I continue to ignore her. Finally she stops a nurse and says, you need to tell that person to cover that awful, offensive tattoo. Nurse gives a blank stare. M continues, it's scaring my child. He's traumatized. Nurse looks at me. I meet her gaze out of the corner of my eye. She looks down at M and tells her to wait outside or in her car if she had a problem. M keeps saying how traumatized her child is, she's woken him now from her yelling. She tells security that I need to move or cover up my horrific arm or she's going to call the cops for indecent exposure. At this point everyone is fed up. Security tells her to quit down and take a seat or leave, final warning. At this point I'm laughing. Long story short, she tried to call the cops, an officer was already here, he poked his head in to look at me, then walked back out. Said something to her and she left screaming bloody murder about indecent exposure to my poor child. I'm still currently in the waiting room. Face with tears of joy. My really shitty tattoo tax https://i.mgur.com/aj2zdc.jpg. M gets mad when I tell her that she can't walk her daughter at a private property, by user_Satantha_. My 22F cousin, 22F, and her family have a beautiful property. Her mom would babysit me during the summers, so I basically grew up there. There are 3 houses with all of her dad's close family living there, which surrounds a big pond. There is a small boat dock, a tennis court and a pavilion. It's surrounded by forest except for the entrance. It is a totally private property, which means that they have big signs at the front of the entrance that says no trespassing. There is also another street sign halfway down the road that says no trespassing. Her and her family get really annoyed when random people come walking down their property and just ignore the signs. To get to the property, you have to go down a sort of long road that goes past a few buildings. When you first turn into the road there is a Wawa. Americans who live in New Jersey, PA, DA, MD or VA, let me know if you know what that is. It's a deli shop / convenience store that has amazing food and coffee, a small strip mall and an apartment complex. I lived in that complex for about a year, which is when this took place. Sorry about the long description, I just hope that this will give you a good enough picture of the area. Now on to the story. When I moved into that apartment complex, I asked my cousin if I could walk my dog around her property. She of course gave me permission. One day after I was done walking my dog around the pond, I was leaving through the front gates, which again, had the NT signs. I saw this random woman walking with her young daughter down towards the entrance, who I have never seen before. I politely asked her if she knew the family who lived there and she said no. I then pointed at the big sign and I said, sorry, it says no trespassing. She then gave me an annoyed face and said, well, you were just on their property, and I replied, yes I was, and I know the family. I am related to them and they gave me permission to go down there. She said, well, my daughter wants to go down there, are you saying that she can't explore? I replied, if it means that you are trespassing, then yes, I am saying that you and your daughter can't go exploring there. She finally gave out a big, annoyed huff and turned to her daughter and said, in a very rude tone, sorry honey, this lady won't let us go down there, and they finally turned around and started walking back. I felt like it would be awkward if I started to walk behind them back to my apartment, so I turned around and just walked my dog around the pond one more time and then left after that. The next day I was with my cousin and I told her about the entitled mom and she thanked me. She said how annoyed she gets when random people show up. I can relate because I also have a property with no trespassing signs, yet people still walk down it. Honestly, it's probably the most ignored street sign in America. My parents brought a new partner into our home without even asking me, by user_charming_morning1216. Sorry, this one might be kinda weird. So for like 6 months my parents have been hanging out with this young woman, Brittany. She's 28 I think. She works as a nurse at the same hospital as my parents. They'd invite her for dinners and stuff like that. I liked her at first. My mom really likes her and sometimes says I should be more like her. Brittany once offered me pot and OFC, I said yes. But then she ratted me out to my mom. Brittany said she saw me smoking it in my room and was worried for me. My mom believed her OFC. That's all to say that I've got good reason to not like Brittany. My parents started hanging out late with Brittany. And then one morning during summer I saw Brittany leaving my parents' bedroom. My parents had been at work for hours by then and she looked like she had just gotten up. Then about 2 months ago, she started staying over often. My parents said she was staying to help them with work. Then one night I walked into my parents' bedroom and Brittany was in the bed with my dad. I was really upset but I didn't say anything at first because my dad promised he would explain it. After a week I snitched on him to mom. But my mom knew what was going on. She and dad explained that Brittany was a special friend. She said my dad wasn't cheating because they were sharing Brittany, whatever that means. I was weirded out and just tried to move on. Well, unfortunately on Monday, I came home to find Brittany's stuff everywhere. Apparently Brittany is now gonna live with us. Supposedly because rent is just too high and they wanted to help her out. Well, it hasn't even been a week and I'm sick of her being here. I have to share a bathroom with her and she's super nosy. My friend had come over so he could help me in math. Well, that night, Brittany told my parents that she's concerned about me being alone with a boy in my bedroom. My parents work late so they never knew he was coming over. But now thanks to Brittany, we have to stay in the kitchen so she can make sure we don't get up to trouble. My mom doesn't allow me to use tampons, but I'm in cheer and they're a necessity. So my friend gave me some to use whenever. I forgot to leave them in my locker and I guess Brittany found them in my backpack. When I saw her looking at them I flipped my shit. I told her she's not my babysitter and that I wanted her to leave me alone. Brittany got super offended and claimed that I was making her feel unwelcome. She threatened to leave and my parents acted like I was being unreasonable. Like I get it's their house but I feel like I should have been at least warned about her coming. OFC she never left and she's back to policing my behavior. My mom got the results back from some testing I had done and must have told Brittany. She told me I'm gonna have to use boric acid suppositories and that she's gonna make sure I keep up with them. I really feel like Brittany being a parent is going too far and that my parents are crazy to think I should just go along with what they're doing. Edit. It doesn't help that she works a lot with special needs kids. I'm on the spectrum so I guess my parents think she understands me or whatever. That's why I initially gravitated towards her, she seemed like she understood me. Sad face. M refused to collapse their buggy for me, a wheelchair user, by userminal 0. So because of the train strike in the UK today, I had to get the bus into college. Luckily my friend agreed to do the journey with me to just help me with the different bus changes. Me, M, friend, F, bus driver BD, and other mum, OM. So it was our longest bus journey yet, only about 15 minutes, but as we were getting on I saw that there were 2 buggies in the wheelchair space. The general rule/consensus is that you can use that space for buggies, but if a wheelchair comes on you move it. BD, excuse me, can whoever these buggies are collapse them for this young man, referring to me. One of the mums immediately collapsed hers and put her child on her lap but the other refused to. At this point I'm getting on the bus and trying to get to the space but I can't. F, can someone please, move the buggy? M, why should I? M, because I need the space? M, no. Why can't you just stand? You're so young there is zero need for you to be using a chair. That is so disrespectful. M, ma'am, I'm sorry but please just move your buggy. At this point M refuses to move, even though her son was sitting on a bus seat, so my mate checked to see if there was a child in the buggy, there wasn't, and just moved the buggy to the side so I could squeeze my chair in. M, how dare you? F, look, my friend needs this space because he can't fit anywhere else. M, but you still can't move my belongings without permission. OM, miss, you clearly have your child on the seat next to you, just let this young man have his space. M, I bet now you're gonna be begging for my seat, referring to my friend. F, no, I'm going to stand next to him, referring to me. At this point I was quite embarrassed and just wanted to get to college so I turned to my friend and suggested we just wait for the next bus. BD, after overhearing me, no you're fine. Ma'am please collapse your buggy or move it to the side. She finally did but gave me the devils the whole way which was really fun. I have to leave my shift to buy another chair for M's overweight son, by user _Jimet. Me. M, entitled mother. OC, overweight child. So I was working a regular shift at the movie theater I work at. Nothing to do, as the movies had already started and there weren't a lot of people so I was mainly just eating some leftover popcorn and telling jokes to my co-workers, when M comes up to me. I'm normally not the type of person that fats hames, but this lady was fat. And I mean absolutely massive. Like literally fatter than she's tall. And her son, SB, was also obese, if not morbidly obese. I'm not gonna tell them how to live their life, but just so you know. So M comes up to me and is absolutely furious. She begins shouting before I could even greet her. OC was looking physically and mentally angry. M, I have a complaint. Me, what seems to be the issue, ma'am? M, bought these seats, but they're too small. Me, can I ask what you mean by too small, miss? M, we can't even sit normally in these fucking chairs. They're too small, so get us new ones. Now I could already tell that these people weren't gonna fit in the seats. But the point is, we're a pretty small movie theater, and we only have one type of seat. Me, I can give you another spot in the theater, but these are the only seats we have, ma'am. I am unable to give you a bigger seat, because we only have one type of. M, then buy one. Me, excuse me. M point at the furniture shop across the road, and straight up says. M, well, you're in charge of giving us what we want, right? Get us a better seat. Me, ma'am, I can't just leave my duty to buy a chair for you to sit on. Also, I don't know the rules, but I'm pretty sure you can't just bring your own furniture into the movie theater. M, so you expect us to sit in those tiny ass seats you gave us? I thought you motherfuckers would do anything for your guests. M is starting to get physically aggressive now, and her son is nowhere to be seen. Me, I can give you tickets to another movie if the experience isn't enjoyable for you, but I can't just buy an entire new chair for you to sit in, ma'am. Would you like to switch your tickets to another movie? M, no. I'll watch this one. But just note that this isn't the last time you guys heard from me. So she waddles away and I just think to myself, it's not my problem you can't fit in the seats, so don't make it my problem. So after she walks away, she takes her son, and she has the brains to buy 4 large popcorns for her and her son, and go into the theater again. But this story isn't finished, because when the movie was done, she walked out of the theater and I walked up to the seats with a broom to clean up the theater, and this bitch dumped 2 of the 4 large popcorn boxes she bought all over the floor, and her son probably ate the other 2 like the assholes they are. And after all this, she has the guts to email my boss a D and complain about me for not only saying she's fat, but not giving her another seat, being rude, and saying the theater was a mess because there was popcorn all over the place. This woman is officially my arch nemesis now.